Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Chaffee. Welcome to tonight's severe weather version of the Joe Chaffee weather show. It's 5:57 p.m. Eastern Time on the 29th of May, the second day in a row of severe weather here in my neck of the woods, eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England, including New York City, Long Island, Philadelphia. And this is also, by the way, and I was speaking to my colleague Joe Rayo about this, neither of us can recall having tornado watches up for this area on back-to-back days. We kind of racked our brains out trying to figure out when that happened. At least we have 80 years of experience between us, and neither of us can remember. Now, to be fair, the criteria over the years has changed with regards to severe weather. So the rules that were around in the late 70s and 80s may not necessarily be the same rules and criteria that are out there now. It's a totally different world. But let's get right to it because we've got a very busy radar, especially over New Jersey. And I want to take a look at this because we do have a working tornado warning at the moment at 5:58. It expires at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. But you could see the wall-to-wall severe thunderstorm warnings that are up from Harrisburg, from southeastern PA, and south parts of south central PA eastward to the Delaware state line. We have a few warnings also up along and just to the east of Baltimore and northern parts of Chesapeake Bay. Then you have severe thunderstorm warnings in central New Jersey. In that red area that you see there, that's a tornado warning that covers Hunterdon, Mercer, Burlington, and a small portion of western Monmouth County. So it actually is sitting over 4 counties there, and there's a really powerful cell that's up in that area. You've got flash flood warnings up for northeastern PA and for northwest New Jersey. Now, we're seeing this moving eastward and hitting into the marine layer, and that is going to probably cause these cells to weaken somewhat. The radar presentation that shows up on this particular tool here is it's understating, I think, as some radars tend to overstate. This view tends to understate the intensity of some of these storms. So we're seeing a lot of lightning strikes from the bands of storms that are moving through. We'll bring up the Upton radar first. I'm also going to keep a side eye with respect to what's happening with the watches and warnings. So here we go. Let me bring up the window. I should have brought it up a bit earlier. I apologize for that. I guess I was in such a rush to bring up everything up to the screen that I forgot. But you can see all the boxes that are up on the radar for Upton. That little red box there, that's that working tornado warning. To see if they updated it yet. I'm not seeing too much. I'm not seeing any warnings popping up in and around New York City and points eastward. So that could be that the storms are, now beginning to feel the impact of that marine air. And we're also seeing starting to see the back edge coming into play on the radar as well. So we're going to work through this over the next couple of hours, and then weather conditions will improve. But you can see it here on the Mount Holly radar, the northern and western edge of all of this, to about Scranton, running west-southwestward from there. So it's probably another couple of hours worth in terms of thunderstorms. Looks like some big cells there south of Harrisburg down to the Pennsylvania-Maryland line, to some cells that are moving into northern parts of Chesapeake Bay, where you've got those severe thunderstorm warnings in play. And the greenish triangle is part of that flash flood warning that we have posted. Looks like now they've extended a severe thunderstorm warning out to northern Ocean and Monmouth County. So let me update this. I'm going to squeeze the radar on the side here so we can bring it back up, and I'm going to go to the Weather Services page for Mount Holly, see what they're doing. All right, so the tornado warning is done. Looks like we have new severe thunderstorm warning that is up for Ocean and Monmouth counties. Load, here we go. All right, this was at 5:50, so this is another severe thunderstorm warning, and I'm looking at here for down in southeast PA, including Philadelphia. All right, so that's it. So 5:39. So we have Ocean. This was issued at 5:40. I don't know why it took so long for the squares to show. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Ocean County, southeastern Hunterdon, Mercer, northern Burlington, Somerset, Monmouth, Middlesex, and then back over to southeastern Bucks County. It's just clearly you can see that this is a very, very crazy evening over New Jersey. And by the way, the tornado watch, which we still have up for the southern counties and is still up for parts of southeastern PA and underneath all of this, the tornado watch that was issued today by SPC remarkably was just about identical to the tornado watch that was issued yesterday. And that's sort of a testament to the pattern that we're in with this frontal boundary here, where these waves have been coming out of a storm out in the plains, that it was basically a wash, rinse, repeat scenario. Here's the latest surface map from 2 o'clock this afternoon. The wave from yesterday is out south of Nova Scotia, and here's your buckling front that we've been talking about, these frontal boundaries just kind of buckling along with a little wave of low pressure probably on it. And then your final wave is now back through Iowa. That is the one that's going to put an end to this, and later tomorrow night when a cold front comes through in the east. But saturated tropical air along the eastern seaboard pushed up once again into Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, and had a real tough time getting much further north than they never really made it even to New York City. I'm still looking at temperatures out my way that are out in the 50s right now, which is just truly amazing. So here's how it looks on SPC's view, where we have the radar overlaid on the surface map, and I'm going to put the running watches and warnings. Seeing that there's a red area indicated near the Jersey Shore. Let's take a look. Let's go back to Mount Holly's radar, Mount Holly's Weather Service office. I'm not seeing, this has got to be the old tornado warning, so that's expired, so I'm not seeing anything new. So I'm not sure what that might be from SPC. If it's doesn't look like it's a special marine warning either, so we'll see what happens. But here's the close-up view. There's that little wave that's running on this stationary boundary and moving out to the east. We are going to get this all out of here. You see where the northern edge of the storm's running up not too far north of Kingston in the Hudson Valley, and just to the east of Scranton, now out of Williamsport, of course, and all concentrated there in southeast PA, and the heavier rains and the heavier downpours crossing over to New York City and into Long Island, and now also into southern Connecticut. I'm going to be very curious to see how much of this stuff holds together with those cool temperatures in the 50s. I'm just going to jump to the Upton office so you can see the perspective here. We don't have any warnings up at the moment in and around New York City, Long Island, for Connecticut, and for the Hudson Valley. We've got various flood advisories up, and that's just basically telling you that it's rain, and there might be some urban and some urban flooding, but not an all-out flooding situation or a flash flood warning, as you can see up in the northwestern counties of New Jersey. Okay, we do have, just going to really quick, I'm going to have to run through this live stream very fast tonight. So let me just jump over back to SPC's page, because we do have severe weather going on again in the suspect area that has been the usual suspect area, and that's out in the southern plains to the middle Mississippi Valley. We've got a very large working tornado watch from northeast Texas on up into northwestern Arkansas to the Missouri state line. And it looks like they just popped a severe thunderstorm watch up for areas in and around St. Louis and into southern Illinois. 2 working severe thunderstorm watches left, one in western PA, the other one down in western Virginia. And you can still see the outline of that the tornado watch. Looking on the side menu, not seeing any new discussions from them regarding any of the storms that are happening. Let's pick up the U.S., the full U.S. view on the radar. Here's the Northeast. There's a tight view of the Northeast on what's playing through, and the time on this one, by the way, the last frame is from 5:28, so this is almost 40 minutes old. It's 6:07 Eastern Time, folks. If you're watching this on a replay, remember that this stuff is dated if you're watching it later on, so you want to go to your local National Weather Service office to get the latest information, and you can access that by going to weather.gov. Here's the stuff in the southern plains. Moving northeastward, you're going to see another round of tornadoes out of this before this is all said and done. And here's the area that's moving through parts of southern West Virginia, and now, of course, here's our area in the Northeast. So let's really quick run through I'm going to run through the HRRR so we can at least take care of the short range. And let's get nice and tight here in the Northeast. So here are our thunderstorms this evening. The small-scale models all kind of lined up yesterday with the idea of getting something linear going through the area today, eastern PA to southern New England, and it really worked out pretty well. Those storms are gone. This is at 8 o'clock tonight, and they're already offshore. So we're talking about another 2 hours before it's finished, and then we catch a break. And going forward, we've got tomorrow to deal with, and this might be the last of the bunch with regards to, this is the last of the bunch with regards to the threat for thunderstorms. Another cold front with another round of downpours and thunderstorms. SPC has got only a marginal risk with a slight risk of severe weather over the southern part of Pennsylvania with this. I haven't really given it a good look. It'd be really weird to see 3 days in a row of a tornado watch up here if it winds up happening, but we'll leave that to SPC for tomorrow. And the weather conditions improve nicely on Friday. The upper air pattern is gradually changing. This is good news for the plains. They've been buffeted very hard with this deep trough that's been out in the west. We are going to see this the trough pulling out. It actually starts to pull out today as we're seeing that shortwave getting ejected eastward. And now, of course, you get the establishment of a jet from Canada coming down into the east. So we get a nice little trough here in the eastern part of the United States going into the weekend and the early part of next week. And you have a bit of a ridge from Texas that builds up into the Rockies. So this should shut down the widespread severe weather in the southern and central plains and in the Mississippi Valley for at least a few days. Hard to know how long this is going to last, but the bottom line is that the endless severe weather that's been going on in that part of the U.S. is going to come to an end, and things are going to finally get to warm up in the Rockies too. Looks like a ridge position here going out to day 10, which is into June 8th. You've got an upper low in eastern Canada with a jet from Canada, so in the east. So that'll mean weather fronts, when they come through every couple of days, will just keep on moving. Nothing's going to get to stall out. The trough wants to hang in the east, and you get a stronger ridge that builds in the west that kind of points its way northeastward toward the lakes toward the end of the forecast period. It keeps troughing here in the east. So at least for the first 10 days of June, I almost said February, but at least for the first 10 days of June, it would seem hard to imagine how it could get hot for more than a day or so. Maybe you get a solid warm-up in between weather fronts as they go by, as they approach, and then after that, the primary pattern will be back to near or slightly below average temperatures, and perhaps we could also assume that we could squeeze in a couple of dry days in between weather fronts, because that would be rather nice. Now, the weather system for tomorrow, of course, getting kicked out of the plains, and here it is. For later Thursday night, no real big deal. There's more energy in the northern stream, so you get this low that's in southern Canada that strengthens a bit. Cold front goes through. We see decent weather on Friday. It looks like the heat wave is also going to break in the southeast. So you get a frontal bound. The whole front with the trough in the east is going to push off the Carolina coast, so that's good news. I think Saturday's dry. There's a secondary front that comes down. You can see it here early Saturday morning, going east-west across the Great Lakes with that high up in Montana. So that might trigger off a shower or maybe a thunderstorm Saturday night. And it looks like the models want to just kind of keep it moving. instead of sharpening the trough up and getting a wave to develop on it, complicating Sunday, looks like it wants to just kind of kick it away to the east. So maybe Sunday, not a picture-perfect day, but not too bad. And then you've got yet another push of cooler air coming in for Monday and Monday night. That is actually a rather cool shot for this time of year, pushing into upstate New York and into New England for Monday night and Tuesday. That bluish dash line, that's that rain, the 540 thickness, the magic rain snow line that we use showing up. So with that trough in the east, it is going to mean for some shots of cool air coming down. I'm actually kind of liking the idea. If we can stay away from having prolonged heat so we can not have to run ACs nonstop and keep bills down, I think I'm for that, and I think most of you would be for that. Okay, I'm going to just one last check here. I just want to see if we've gotten anything new from the standpoint of watches and warnings, and the answer is no. So we still have what we said before. The flash flood warnings, northeastern PA, northwest New Jersey, severe thunderstorm warnings up in the central New Jersey counties, but we don't have any additional warnings that have been added. We have also severe thunderstorm warnings in southeast back to south central PA. It cuts off between Lancaster and Harrisburg, and we have some residual severe thunderstorm warnings down in the Baltimore area, but not quite to Washington, D.C. You see my colleague Joe Rayo, he's getting ready to do some FiOS 1 News weather, as am I, so we're going to end it right here.
I think, Corey, can I say something?
Go ahead.
I'm about to, when I do our update here, and at least for the lower Hudson Valley, I think this thing is going to be over said and done before 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
It's moving very rapidly. So
good. Get it out of here. I've had enough. All right, folks. Not sure what I'm going to do later this evening, but just if you go on my Facebook page, Meteorologist Joe Chaffee, or Joe Rayo's Facebook page, Joe Rayo Weather, you can get all the latest. And
well, we're not. That's all we're doing is the Hudson Valley HV1.
And then I can do Long Island after that.
And then Joe's going to be here to do Long Island.
All right. Thanks very much for being here tonight, folks. We'll see you later if weather conditions warrant. If not, we'll see you tomorrow.